Hi, I'm recording this video because so many of the people in my circle have asked me to, and I wanted to share it with you all because a lot of what I talk about in the island of spirit and soul is not going to resonate with people, is not going to be understood by many of us unless we have coherence in our body, unless there is a level of regulation in the system. So there are three main things that I ask people to engage with. There are three main things that I highly encourage and recommend that make us cross that bridge from a place where we have lost touch with our soul, with our body, with our embodied sense of self, with our peace and ease and embodied peace and ease and coherence to a place of coherence, to a place of at least neutrality in the body. I like to think of the body as a little container, and the container has two parts. One is the consciousness of the body. I see it as a little sponge that is absorbing all the information. My body can absorb the sun coming in and the music and the birds and everything that is happening without my mind having to make a story about it. And then there is the consciousness of the mind that can focus on many different things and can be all over the place. And so what we're trying to do is to bring the consciousness of the mind to pay attention of what's happening inside the body and the little sponge that is the body that is absorbing everything. A state of dissonance is a space of trauma, let's say, is a sponge that has absorbed more fear throughout its life than love. It all comes down to that. How much fear has my nervous system, has my body been exposed to that has made me curl in and be afraid? And how much love and acceptance has my body and my nervous system received to make me come out, to make the animal of my body come out with confidence, to be at peace, at ease, in a place of homeostasis. So there are three things that we have to do to cross that bridge. The first thing is to teach the animal of the body how to breathe like a mammal again. Many of us, because of this constriction for so long, the body has gotten used to breathing in a shallow way, or the body is anticipating something bad to happen, so we hold our breath. And now we must train the animal of the body how to breathe like a mammal again. It is not something that happens overnight. It can take between 2 weeks to 2 months, according to this book that I'm going to recommend to you, this podcast that I'm going to recommend to you. Highly recommended. Simply, your mind needs to understand the importance of belly breathing for you to shift from sympathetic to parasympathetic, from fight or flight to rest and digest. Some of us are not even sleeping well because the system, even when we go to sleep, continue to be dysregulated. And so mammal breathing, deep belly breath, makes us do that switch from sympathetic fight flight to parasympathetic rest and digest. So the number one is the breath, changing that breathing pattern. The second one is movement. And so what happens is that the creature inside, let's just call it the animal. Let's just call it the animal of the body. Again, if it has received so many threats during our life, the animal does this. And so we may be holding tension here. We may be holding tension here in the belly. We may be holding tension over our heart. We may be holding tension around our jaw area. And we're tightening our teeth and we're grinding our teeth unnecessarily. And so this is what's causing so many of our suffering. In case you don't know about me, I have a master's of divinity. I went to a seminary, a very liberal seminary, to study divinity, to study the sacred from around the world. My main propelling force in my life, according to the gene keys that I follow, my vocation is altruism, which has to do with having to do something about the suffering of humanity. My family has suffered tremendously. My ancestors suffered tremendously. I have suffered tremendously. I have been to prisons, to the border, to hospitals, and I have worked with hundreds of people who have experienced deep suffering in their lives. And so I feel propelled to do something about human suffering. And that's why I do the work that I do. And that's why I have studied so many modalities. And that's why I have studied as many modalities as I have. And so, what alleviates human suffering, first and foremost, I mean, in our container, right? What can we do in our container to alleviate our suffering? There are many things that we can do in the outside world, and there are many systems of oppression that have caused a lot of our issues, and there's many family systems outside of ourselves, right, that have caused societal issues that have caused a lot of our suffering. But what I'm particularly referring to here is about self-leadership. It's about self-compassion. It's about self-attunement. It's about what can we do in our own containers to alleviate our own suffering, to bring some level of peace and ease and coherence and harmony back into our systems. Then the second one is movement, because when we're talking about this tension here, this constriction in the body, it has become chronic, just like the breathing has become chronic, the tension in the body has become chronic, and now we are invited to move gently as much as possible to soften that tension in the jaw, in the shoulders, wherever it is. And so some people like to go at doing this work of healing. Me first. I was the first one with the same force, with the same energy that the ego would use, that the mind would use, that the patriarchy would use. And so, what is recommended for those of us who hold trauma is soft, gentle movement. I love Qigong for this. You see, it's just trying to get the energy of the body to move away from constriction to flow, to softness, to lightness. So that's number two. And number three is emotional freedom technique, EFT, or tapping. I have known about this for 15 years, and my mind would go, well, this doesn't work for me. I had such resistance to it. I would be completely healed. I would have been completely healed for years now had I done that, but I resisted it. Why? Well, it's just the mind resists things. And so what I do now, and what I highly recommend people to do, is to have a mirror in front of them and to look at themselves in the mirror while they're tapping. Recommendation is to do the tapping in these meridian points, because so much of this is that the energy in the body was causing the suffering is the energy in the body, again, that is in a certain way, and is usually linked to a particular subject. Like you say, ooh, that's a charged subject for you. It could be money. It could be, let's say, flying in an airplane. It could be all kinds of things. So that we come to EFT and we say a phrase like, even though I feel this charge in my body regarding money, let's say, even though there is this anxiety around money, even though I feel really scared to even think about money, I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. And we continue to tap and we say, this fear, this anxiety, I'm choosing to release. I'm choosing to let go of. And we tap. So I recommend putting a mirror in front of us because it allows us this accountability, that I call it. When I speak of the issue that I'm scared of, now it's not running in the subconscious. It's like it is something that is being triggered in the subconscious mind. Let me just being human is like having two brains. There is the conscious mind and there is the subconscious mind. And there is this mind body split that is separating the two. The mind is like the top of an iceberg, and the subconscious body is like 90% of who we are. The way I like to explain this is that sometimes the mind can say, I want to be a public speaker. But if the nervous system, if the body is not okay with that, you won't be able to do it. The body will throw a tantrum that you'll start shaking, you'll be, sweating, you'll turn red, you'll get sick to your stomach. So the idea is not about forcing the body to do things that the body doesn't feel safe with doing, but there's also these trigger points that there is a particular issue or subject that it makes the body respond in a particular way. For example, money for a lot of people. So what we're trying to do now is this anxiety that is in the subconscious mind is like a program that is running there, right? And we can be doing our things, but the body is like worrying and being dysregulated. Now we bring it to the conscious mind. We say, even though you're saying, I see you. I see you. Even though I see this, I love myself. Even though I have anxiety around this issue, I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. So there's a lot of things that are happening here. First of all, again, we are seeing what's in the subconscious and we're giving a voice. Giving a voice means now we're activating the throat chakra. Now we're activating the vagus nerve, the largest nerve in the body that oftentimes is like there's this constriction here that happens. And so the more we talk, the more we talk, the more we talk, the more we are moving these muscles here, the more we're moving the energy, the nerves in that area. And that is loosening up the charge around there. Again, tapping the meridian points. This is the electrical system in the body. I call the nervous system is the electricity system, is the electric system. And so when we tap in these meridian points, this is ancient Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine is older than modern Western medicine. And so we're tapping on these meridians, and whatever charge is connected to that subject, the more you do this, the more you're going to see that the charge just like, whoo, just calms down. And so I'm going to share more information on this, but I just wanted to give you an introduction about these three things that can have a huge impact on you getting to a place of coherence and regulation and attunement. I also want to mention that, again, this mind-body split, what we're trying to do here is really to heal the mind-body split. And so to develop this self-awareness and self-attunement, the body responds to our thoughts. Let's say we're thinking about doing that thing and the body goes, oh no. The body is our intuition too. The body is saying, let's do this thing, or I don't want to do this thing. And to which degrees are we ignoring our body? To which degree are we ignoring our intuition? Have we ignored the intuition of the body? Have bypassed the intuition on the body? And so now part of the work is getting to attune to the body. Oftentimes we have been attuned to everything that's happening on social media, everything that's happening on the news, everything the mind thinks about and can go and search. We are attuned to the needs of other people. And so now what we want to do is to bring the consciousness of the mind and to attune to our bodies. And so it's like, ooh, what is this here? And so I can play songs to my body, to my nervous system. For example, one of my favorite is Mama Cass' Dream a Little Dream of Me. My body responds to that song very, very well. My body responds to me talking in a very gentle, soothing way, versus if I'm like, my body's responding to that. So I'm being mindful of the energy that I'm creating in my container. My little sponge has absorbed so much negativity, has absorbed so much judgment, has absorbed so many challenges, so many threads. And now I want my little sponge in my container to absorb lavender colors, the lightness of being, because this is also true. Love is true. Lightness is true. Beauty is true. Exquisiteness is true. Gentleness is truth. Safety is true. Coherence is true. So this is the idea then of exposing the container of the body to more love, love, to more softness. And so that's my invitation to you. Teach the animal of the body how to breathe properly, like a mammal. It changes the game. It changed everything for me. That's one of the first things that was able for that I that that's one of the things that I was able to see the shift almost immediately when I was able, not immediately overnight, but once I learned to breathe with my belly instead of engaging in shallow breathing, I came out of survival. I highly recommend it for you. Then there's the movement. I want you doing soft, gentle movement, or I invite you to do that. Your body will thank you because you will come out of constriction. Expansive breathing, this is the invitation. Expansive breathing and soft, expansive movement to come out of constriction. And then the tapping, emotional freedom technique. You will liberate yourself from these heavy, heavy emotions connecting to different subjects. The recommendation, just really quickly, is to do, let's say, how much charge do you have around that subject? We're talking about money. So let's say, I'm at a 10, I'm at a 9, I'm at an 8. And so test it before and test it after. Ask yourself, how much charge do I have around the issue now? And how much charge I have around the issue now? And the more you prove to yourself that EFT works, the more willing you will be to doing this. EFT has been around now for 30 or 40 years. EFT has been studied around the world by various traditions, by various um, researchers, teams of researchers from war-torn places, all kinds of issues and traumas, and it works for everything, and it will work for you because the body is like a container of energy. It's like a little machine of different energetic currents, and when you tap in these meridians, the charge, the energy relaxes and softens and is soothed. And so my invitation to you is this: engage in these three practices and you will see how the animal of your body is going to thank you. You will see how you will be able to make this shift to coherence, to health, to balance, to peace, to ease, to embodiment, to presence. I wish you beauty. I wish you love. I wish you empathy and compassion for the animal of the body, for the animal of your body. Sometimes I think about it as how to train your dragon. There are things you want to do in this world, but you need the animal of your body to do them with. Have fun in the process. Enjoy.